So students, let's see how to draw the structure of eye in a simple and easy way. For that, you need a compass, a ruler, pencil and eraser and coloring materials. In compass, you have to take 5 centimeter radius. 5 centimeter radius using a ruler. Then draw 4 concentric circles. 4 concentric circles. First one, then close to that, outside, the second circle, then inside, a little more wider, the third circle, then one more in the middle. So in this way you have to draw 4 circles, 4 concentric circles. First one will be having the radius of 5 centimeter. Then outside and inside draw 3 more circles. So altogether you have to draw 4 circles. Then with the help of ruler and pencil, draw a line which is passing through the center. In maths you might have studied about the diameter. So here a line passing through the center which extends to the outside. That is very, very important. Extend to outside. The extension should be based on the front part of the eye. So make sure that where you are going to draw the cornea and the related parts, that part should be extended more. Is it clear? Now keep the ruler in the front portion of this circle and erase this portion fully. This part is going to modify it into cornea. So that part we rub a little here also. If you keep the scale and rub, then it will be uniform. That's why I am showing like this. Keep the scale and rub the front portion of the circle. So which are the steps? First you have to draw. Take 5 centimeter radius. Draw 1 circle. Then inside and outside 3 more circles. So all are concentric circles pointing on the same point, that is the midpoint. Then after that, drawing a line which is passing through the center of the circle but extends towards those sides where you are going to draw the cornea. Then keeping the scale at the front part of the eye and rub the portion of the circle. Now we can extend the line. We can extend the first line where you have to end on the mid portion of the elongated line. That's why we have drawn a line like this where we have to stop at the imaginary line that we have drawn in the middle. Like this. Is it clear? Then when you draw the projection, this is actually the cornea. When you draw the projection, make sure that it is bulged structure and at the same time the bulging should be very blunt in nature, not very sharp. Don't draw like a V-like structure. That is not the peculiarity of cornea. Cornea is projected but blunt in nature. That means a curvature should be shown here. A curvature should be shown here so that it having a bulged end. Clear? Now we can draw the lens. where you have to draw the lens in front of the eye. So this is our midpoint where we have kept the compass. Apart from the midpoint, somewhat to the anterior part, you have to draw a lens. And what is the shape of human lens? It is biconvex. So half of the lens should be on the upper part of this imaginary line and half should be on the lower side. Is it clear? Now we can rub a little more here, these circles. Now please listen. This is the outermost line, first circle. This is the second circle. This is the third circle and this is the fourth circle. So from the third circle, draw a U-shaped structure where you have to draw facing to the lens. Here also from the third circle you have to draw a U-shaped structure. So somewhat hanging structure on both sides of the lens, one on the upper side and other on the lower side. Then from the U-shaped structure, draw a bracket-like structure facing in front of the lens. No need of touching to the lens, just facing, just like an armor. So two bracket-like structure, make it as a double line. Here also make it as a double line, and where you have to join on the second line of our circle. So U-shaped starting from the third line and it should be connected to the second line of our circle. Here also it should be connected with the second line of the circle. Then what about the innermost layer, third layer? Nothing to do with that, just connect it with the help of a small line. That is our retina. So almost our figure is finished. Now we can draw some final touchings. That is thread-like structure. That is the suspensory ligament or simply the ligament. 3 lines you can draw like this. So when you draw this iris, this bracket-like structure is the iris, which is acting as a curtain in front of the eye. So don't touch it with the lens. There should be a small gap in between and this place should be empty, that is the pupil. So this is the structure of our eye. Now we can draw an optic nerve. So rub a little at the side of the eye. There is no layer here. So rub all those lines or circular outline. Make it as a stem-like structure and join all the extensions here like this. Clear? Now at the back side of the lens, that is the innermost layer, there is a depression that we studied as our yellow spot. So rub a little here also, and the innermost line retina should have a depression here. Okay, this depression. So once you finish the structure, your cornea, the lens, cornea, the pupil, lens, yellow spot, all should be on the same line. In order to make it on the same line, I have already drawn a line in the middle. So there is no confusion or there won't be any mistake if you follow the steps which I have rendered here. Okay. So the cornea, that is the bulged part, projected part of our eye, then the lens and the yellow spot must be on the same line. That is the proportion. And where you have to draw the optic nerve should be drawn at the side below the yellow spot, not close to the yellow spot. This is the depression of the yellow spot. Below the yellow spot, you have to draw the optic nerve. Is it clear? Now we can draw the conjunctiva. When you draw the conjunctiva, it's a semi-transparent membrane which secretes mucus, very thin. Now we can draw the conjunctiva. Conjunctiva is a thin, transparent membrane except in cornea. So in front of cornea it is absent. So you have to draw from the side of the eye. A thin membrane. Here also a thin membrane. So proportion is somewhat near to the iris. Extend back till this region and make it as a V-shaped structure. That is our eyelid attached to our eyelids. So eyelashes will be there on our eyelids like this. Okay. Now we can rub that line which we have drawn for making the structures in a proportionate way. We can rub here, not fully. Why? Because we also have to mark the parts, label the parts. For that this line will be useful. This we can utilize for labeling the cornea, and backside we can utilize the line for labeling the yellow spot. So when you label the cornea and yellow spot, you can label in this particular point itself. Don't label on somewhere other parts than the depicted side. Is it clear? Now we can label the parts. So keep the scale like this. We can thicken the line. This is the cornea. This is the yellow spot. Understood? These two regions we cannot change. The bulging is the cornea and the depression is the yellow spot. The rest of the parts we can draw according to the space. So here we can draw the three layers. First layer sclera, the middle layer choroid, the innermost layer retina. So sclera, choroid, retina. Three layers. So we will mark like that. Sclera, choroid, retina. Then here cornea, here yellow spot. Okay. Now we can do some modification here. Here actually there is no cell. Cell means photoreceptors are absent here. This is the region where the optic nerve arises, that is known as blind spot. So this region we can thicken and draw like this. Okay. So this particular region is the optic nerve. This is the optic nerve, and the region where the optic nerve arises is called the blind spot. Okay. Now we can label the part. This is the blind spot and this is the optic nerve. So blind spot where the vision is not possible, and this is the optic nerve, the nerve that carry impulses from eye to brain. Now we can label the rest of the parts. There is a big chamber at the back side of the eye. Backside means between the lens and the retina. So position is between the lens and retina. There is a large chamber that is known as vitreous chamber, and it is filled with a fluid called vitreous humor. So if you label the part, you can either mark it as a vitreous humor or vitreous chamber. According to the question, you have to label. If you are asked to mark the chamber, then you can mark it as vitreous chamber. If you are asked to label the fluid present at the back side of the eye or in between lens and retina, we can label it as vitreous humor. Okay. Similarly, an anterior chamber is there, that is known as aqueous chamber. So before that we can label these parts so that we can adjust the spacing. This is the conjunctiva. Then ciliary muscle, suspensory ligament, iris. The space is called pupil. The space in between the two iris, pupil. Then lens. Then the chamber, anterior chamber, that is aqueous humor. Now we can label the parts. This is conjunctiva. This is ciliary muscle. This is ligament or suspensory ligament, iris, pupil, lens, aqueous humor. Okay. Now we can give certain colors in order to identify the parts easily, and you can memorize the parts easily. So first of all, the sclera. Sclera is white in color. So here I am shading lightly with the pencil. A light shading with the pencil. So sclera is the outermost tough layer which give firmness to the eyeball. When it comes to the front part, the sclera get modified into cornea. So front side, it get modified into cornea. So that part we can finish it a little bit. So from here onwards, the cornea can be drawn. Here also, from this side, we can draw the extension. Okay. So this is the cornea. Then conjunctiva. Conjunctiva is a transparent membrane. Can give a light color. Conjunctiva. Okay. The next part is the choroid. Choroid is the middle layer of our eye, which is rich in blood vessel. So since it is highly vascular in nature, we can give a red color for easy identification. So when you see the red color, you can easily remember that is rich in blood vessels or vascular. Vascular means rich in blood vessel. So the middle layer is the choroid, which is rich in blood vessels. They provide the nutrients, oxygen, helps in transportation of materials in and out of the eye. So here also we can give the red color, that is the middle layer of our eye, choroid. And which are the modifications of choroid? Choroid is modified into iris, ciliary muscle and ligament. 3 parts modifications are there. So we can give shades which are similar to the red. The first one is ciliary muscle, the U-shaped structure. 3 modifications are there. Sclera has only 1 modification, cornea, but here it is modified into 3 structures when it comes to the front part of the eye, that is ciliary muscle. Here I am giving a pink color for that. Then ligament is there, thread-like structure which hold the lens in position. Thread-like structure which hold the lens in position. Then iris. Iris is the colored part of the eye. Here I am giving a brown color to the iris. If I give a black color, it will be too dark. Can give any color because different people are having different colors in the iris. Depending upon the presence or intensity of melanin, the color may vary. So iris is a curtain-like structure in front of the eye which gives color to the eye. Not only for giving color, the melanin has a function. It absorbs the excess light falling into the eye. So this is the iris. In front of the iris there is a gap. There should be a gap when you draw the figure. This gap is actually an aperture. Aperture means a small opening. That is the pupil. So in the figure also you have to show that aperture, an opening, an empty space, that is the pupil. Is it clear? Now we can finish our lens. Human lens is biconvex in nature. That means both the ends should be tapering, middle one should be broader. Then it is crystalline capsule made up of protein. So we can shade like this. If you don't know how to shade, doesn't matter, leave it as a white in color. Okay. So this is our lens. Lens is biconvex in nature. They helps to refract the light rays and focus it on the layer called retina. So focusing the light on retina is done with the help of the lens. And what is the peculiarity of our lens? Lens is biconvex in nature. Okay. Now here we can darken this eyelids. Okay. Now the innermost layer we have to give a color, otherwise it is quite difficult to identify. Here I am giving an yellow color to the retina. Retina is the innermost layer which contain millions of photosensitive receptors called rods and cones. So when you draw the figure, please keep in mind that retina is absent in the optic nerve region. There it is completely absent. That's why the particular point is known as blind spot. And the peculiarity of this blind spot is that it is the region where the optic nerve arises. Okay. Then if you wish, you can draw a small root-like structure inside in order to show the blood vessels, but it is not compulsory. If you wish, you can draw, otherwise leave it. No need of drawing any blood vessels inside. Anyway, blood vessels are seen inside. When you observe your eye, in the front portion you can see small root-like very delicate blood vessels are running in front part of our eye. So the whole eyeball is having a network of blood vessels that you can show inside, but there is no need to draw it in the figure. Without the blood vessels also you can label the parts. Okay. So the major steps that you have to follow for drawing the structure of eye are, first you need a compass. That is very, very important. If you draw it with a compass, then your eye will be very perfect. Keep the compass in the middle of the page and draw concentric circles. How many circles you have to draw? 4 concentric circles. The measurement I have given here is 5 centimeter. Doesn't matter if it is 4 or 6. According to the size of your page, you can increase or decrease the number. Then 4 concentric circles you have to draw. Then front portion you have to rub a little bit. Then draw an imaginary line, very light line passing through the center, similar to the diameter, but extends a little outside where you are intended to draw the cornea. Then modify the first line into a bulged structure called cornea. Then draw a lens in the middle, that means in the anterior part of our eye, not at the back side, at the anterior part of our eye. Then above and below draw a U-shaped structure, and where you have to draw, begin the U-shaped structure from the third circle and modify it as a bracket like structure and connect it to the second circle. So here I am going to darken the lines so that it will be perfect. See, like this. Here also, starting from the third circle, drawing a bracket like structure, ending in the second layer of the circle. So first layer is the sclera, second and third layer for choroid, and the last and innermost line should be modified as retina. Okay. Then from the U-shaped structure, draw 2-3 thread-like structure, that is the ligament which hold the lens in position. Now at the back side, just behind the lens, the retina, there should be a depression, that is the yellow spot. This depression is the yellow spot. And once you finish, make sure that the yellow spot, lens and cornea should be on the same line. That is the proportion of drawing the eye in a right way. Okay. Now rub a little in the downward portion, connect it as a blunt end and draw a stem-like portion showing the optic nerve. This region you can draw in a shaded manner and label it as blind spot. Then coming to conjunctiva. Conjunctiva you have to draw near the iris and ending near the ligaments and the muscle. That is the position of the conjunctiva. Conjunctiva is absent in the front part of our eye, that is cornea. There the conjunctiva is absent, so don't extend too much. It should begin from the front part to the back side a little bit, and it should be connected with the eyelids. Okay. Once you finish the structure, you can write the heading structure of eye. That is very, very important. When you draw any figures or flow chart, you have to write the heading. Here the heading is structure of eye. Is it clear, children? Please follow the step. When you see the figure for the first time, you think that it's quite difficult to draw, but actually it is very easy. With the help of compass, you can draw the structure of eye in a very easy way. Okay? Thank you.